Hey, did you hear that? Do you smell that? You know, sometimes when the Earth spins just right, you can catch a whiff of Jupiter, the biggest planet in our solar system. When that happens, you can be sure there's some incredible stories carried on those cosmic breezes. Stories about storms that last hundreds of years, planets that glow red, and moons that may hold the secrets of alien life. Buckle up, because today we're diving headfirst into the gas giant that rules them all. And if you love space as much as we do, then make sure to subscribe to our channel. We bring the cosmos to you every week with new videos about everything from black holes to baby stars and everything in between. So hit that subscribe button and let's go explore. Jupiter. Oh, mighty Jupiter. Sometimes we call you a gas giant. Sometimes we call you a liquid giant. And sometimes we call you a monster. All of these names are pretty accurate. First things first, let's put this guy in perspective. Jupiter is big. Like really, really big. In fact, it's so big you could fit 1,300 Earths inside of it. And not only is it big, it's massive, possessing 2.5 times the mass of all the other planets in the solar system combined. But despite its staggering heft, Jupiter's not the densest planet. In fact, if you were to weigh a handful of Jupiter's air, it would probably feel less dense than the same amount of feathers. So what exactly is Jupiter made of? Well, no one knows for sure, but scientists think it's mostly hydrogen and helium. These elements form a thick atmosphere that makes up the outer layer of the planet. But as you get closer to Jupiter's core, the pressure gets higher and the temperature gets hotter, which causes the hydrogen to turn into a weird state of matter called metallic hydrogen. Metallic hydrogen is basically like regular hydrogen, except it's under such extreme pressure that the atoms lose their electrons and become a soupy metal. Scientists think that it's this metallic hydrogen that makes Jupiter such a powerful magnet, since moving charges create magnetic fields. In fact, Jupiter's magnetic field is 14 times stronger than Earth's. That means if you took a compass to Jupiter, it would spin like crazy and point in every direction at once. But wait, there's more. Because Jupiter's magnetic field is so strong, it creates giant radiation belts around the planet. These belts are filled with high-energy particles that can damage electronic equipment. So if you want to visit Jupiter, make sure to bring a spacesuit that's shielded against radiation. Speaking of visiting Jupiter, the best place to start your tour would be the Great Red Spot. It's a gigantic storm that's been raging on the planet for at least 350 years. But don't worry, it's not going anywhere anytime soon. In fact, it's likely been around for thousands of years and will continue to be around for thousands more. The Great Red Spot is a high-pressure area that's larger than Earth. And unlike Earth's storms, it doesn't dissipate after a few days or weeks. Instead, it just keeps on raging, blowing around hydrogen and helium gas at speeds of up to 430 kilometers per hour. But don't let the slow spinning fool you. This storm is anything but calm. It est, a raging beast that has been chewing on Jupiter's atmosphere for as long as anyone can remember, and it's still going strong. What's really crazy is that the Great Red Spot used to be even bigger. Scientists believe that it shrunk dramatically in the late 17th century when it was first observed by humans. They don't know exactly why it shrunk, but they have a few theories. One is that the storm is actually made up of two smaller storms that are locked in a death spiral. As the storms get closer and closer together, they'll eventually merge into one giant storm. Another theory is that Jupiter's magnetic field is somehow affecting the storm, either weakening it or strengthening it. Either way, the Great Red Spot is a reminder that Jupiter's a living, breathing planet that's constantly changing and evolving. Okay, now that we've talked about Jupiter's famous storm, let's talk about its famous lightning. Jupiter's lightning is the most powerful in the solar system. A single flash can release as much energy as 300 of Earth's lightning bolts combined. So if you're standing on Jupiter when it strikes, you're toast. But don't worry, it is very unlikely that any human will ever get close enough to Jupiter to see its lightning firsthand. That's because the planet doesn't have a solid surface like Earth does. Instead, it has a thick atmosphere that gradually gets thicker and thicker until it turns into a liquid. Eventually, you will reach the point where you go and land on Jupiter because the pressure and temperature are just too extreme. Scientists think that deep down inside Jupiter, there's a solid core. But no spacecraft has ever gotten close enough to confirm this. If you want to learn more about Jupiter's atmosphere, though, you should check out the glowing auroras that dance around the planet's poles. These auroras are similar to the ones we see on Earth, except they're much bigger and brighter. In fact, Jupiter's auroras are the brightest in the solar system. They're created by charged particles from Jupiter's magnetic field that collide with the planet's atmosphere. Now, we're not entirely sure what causes the particles to glow, but we do know that it has something to do with the composition of Jupiter's atmosphere. As we said before, Jupiter has more than 90 confirmed moons. Some of these moons are pretty boring. They're just small chunks of rock and ice that orbit the planet. But others are more interesting. Take Io, for example. This moon is covered in volcanoes that erupt sulfur and lava. It's the most volcanically active body in the solar system. Then there's Europa, which is covered in ice. Beneath its icy shell, however, scientists think there's a vast ocean of liquid water. In fact, Europa has more water than all the water on Earth combined. It's possible that this ocean could contain more life than all the oceans on Earth. Just saying. Finally, there's Ganymede, the largest moon in the solar system. Ganymede is bigger than Mercury and has its own magnetic field. It also has auroras that are even brighter than Jupiter. These auroras are caused by charged particles from Jupiter's magnetic field hitting Ganymede's atmosphere. However, unlike Jupiter, Ganymede's auroras are not at its poles, but around its equator. This suggests that Ganymede's atmosphere is different from Jupiter. It's possible that the atmosphere is made up of oxygen and carbon dioxide, which would make it similar to Earth's atmosphere. In conclusion, Jupiter is a planet of extremes. It's hot and cold, wet and dry, stormy and calm. It's a place where anything can happen, and where the laws of physics seem to be turned upside down. It's a place that we can only observe from afar, a place that we can never truly understand, but it's a place that we can marvel at and be in awe of. Speaking of things we can only observe from afar, if you're enjoying this video, then rest assured, our team is hard at work on bringing you more deep dives into the solar system and beyond. The only way to ensure you don't miss any of our future content is to hit subscribe. With your support, we can keep unraveling the mysteries of the cosmos and sharing them with you. And if you do have any suggestions for future topics, be sure to leave them in the comments below. Who knows? Your idea might just become a future episode. Until then, keep looking up. Jupiter might just be watching